Chicago with a keyboard and some tea. Lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be. He ditched his law degree for plugins that go zing. Now WooCommerce dances every time he pulls a string.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, it is officially Friday, June 26th, 2026. Always amazes me how fast time goes. I think we're good to go on sound. It is very dark here because it's gonna rain, which is ridiculous. We've had about 3-4 days of rain, but I guess that's good for coding and development. Doing a little tweak here of the camera. If you guys can pipe in on the comments and let me know if the sound is good. I think we're fine. Yeah, it sounds good here. Just pipe in and say hi. Today, our topic is your one-stop solution for AI marketing and transactional email. I have a new product release that I had mentioned last week coming out today, probably today, tomorrow. You know how I do it. Minute launch mail. And the solution is something that is really long overdue because what we're going to talk about today, and I have a full slide deck presented to present, is transactional email, marketing email, agentic email, and what that means for you and your business, and how hard it has been up until now to set that up, but not so hard now. So if you guys are prepared for some fun, should be good. Also hard to believe I'm tracking my weekends, but I think one more week, we're in week 3 or 2.5 or 3 of the official summer between dropping my youngest son off to camp and going to visit him. So I usually track the weekends like that. It's hard to believe that we're already approaching July. Okay, so let me grab the slides because I've got them prepared, and just a very, very minor amount of adjustments today to get this going. If you guys are here, pipe on in. What's weird is I am 100% sure I sent out the email. Usually I have more of an immediate bounce in the audience numbers. Today I do not see that, but it could just be the summer. Let me double check too. Here is today's topic. Oh, StreamYard, one of these days you're going to make my life easier. Not necessarily this week. Okay. Here it is today. There's John. Okay, the email did go through, right? All right, fantastic. Thanks, John, for validation. I'm going to also try to see whether or not I can make this just slightly bigger without blowing up the whole thing. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Nice and balanced. All right. So today what we're talking about is Minute Launch Mail. That is your one-stop solution for all AI marketing and transactional email. Let me set the stage for what the problem is and where the problem comes from. When somebody is using WordPress, oh, good morning. You guys are here. I guess there's just like a slight delay. And the big boy is down. Julie's got a new grandchild who is adorable. And can I say this? He's a big boy. He's a big boy, but very cute. Julie already had him working outside in the yard yesterday. He's a couple months old. I'm kidding. He looks like he could do that. When you set up a new solution for yourself or a customer, there's 2 types of email. We're going to go into this in the slide. There is transactional email, which is the stuff that, WordPress uses to let people know, hey, Spence, you just signed up. Here's your new login. Or WooCommerce or Minute Launch Stripe Gateway. Hey, you just purchased a product. That is not designed for marketing, and it's not considered bulk email. In the past, when you've used a different type of a host, they would have included a janky service called POP3 or IMAP email that would have allowed you through the server to send those mails out. However, Rocket.net, and I appreciate them for this, focuses exclusively on what they do best, which is the hosting, and therefore they don't offer email included, nor should they. I mean, you might get away with sending 1 or 2 emails just through PHP, but you're not really using it for that purpose. The second type of an email is bulk email, or I would call it marketing email. And that is where you need a specialty service, something that is comparable to what I'm going to refer to today, like Brevo, that you pay a bulk email fee for. And it sends it out to a bunch of people who are otherwise not necessarily in a full relationship with you yet, but you're tracking the journey through the relationship with you. And the reason those are different is, first of all, they're considered different from the standpoint of spam laws. And second of all, it's considered different because people in a transactional email typically have done something affirmatively with you already, given you their credit card, bought something, registered with you. Whereas in a marketing situation, you're building that relationship. Now, in both of these situations, it's imperative not only for deliverability, but just for complying with common sense, that you need to have a trusted SMTP or REST API or agentic postman, a delivery thing person. That is, you have a tool in your WordPress site that creates the emails. You need something, some person, some object to deliver it. And the way the world works is on a series of trusted relationships. In the past, the SMTP delivery mechanism was the thing that we relied on most and still do for most of the time. That is a series of trusted providers who around the world are willing to cooperate with each other to act as the postal service. Let's do a quick search here. Let's go to the ChatGPT, kids, shall we? List out the SMTP servers in the world that have trusting relationship. I don't know what it's going to give me, but I think it'll tell you about 13, 14 or so services. So major email service providers like Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, Apple. Dedicated outbound relay services, SendGrid, Mailgun, Amazon, Brevo, Postmark, SMTP to go. And essentially they use these tools that allow them to handshake with each other and say, yeah, this is cool. You can deliver this email. SPF, which is a sender policy framework. This is a record, a DNS record that lists exactly the IP addresses that are allowed to send emails on your behalf for your domain. Here's why. They're trying to eliminate or remove or reduce phishing or spoofing or impersonation. So if they've got a validated list that says, I'm the postman coming to your place of business and I know what your address is, I can trust that the mail coming out of here is actually from you. Metaphorically, your IP address. DKIM, Domain Keys Identified Mail. This is a digital signature added to the emails that does something similar. That allows the receiving server to know that it got to you in one piece. Nobody steamed open. Good morning, Lloyd. Nobody steamed open the emails and replaced the content with something to try to fool you into believing something that isn't true. And then DMARC, Domain-Based Message Authentication, Reporting, and Conformance. That is a lot of words. This allows the receiving senders to know exactly what to do if things fail. Typically, DMARC is something like a web address or an email address, ironically, that says, contact this person if something's wrong or if you need to validate. So between the DNS record saying this is your place of business, matching an domain to an IP address, the DKIM, which says, yeah, I'm validating this thing has not been steamed open in transit, and DMARC, which is like, here's who to reach in the case you have some questions. This creates a trusting handoff relationship so that if you use one of these SMTP servers or services, that you will not be considered naughty. What is the downside of being naughty? Well, nobody will get your mail. That's the downside. The whole purpose of sending mail is to get to the people. And if you are like me, and right now, as we speak, ironically, I'm looking at my Apple text message. There are pieces of SHI with a T at the end who send me 1,000 pieces of spam text message a day. I don't know how or why they get away with it. They're violating all federal laws, but they do it anyway. Imagine with the email how bad that is as well. The reason that we need these tools is because there are people who don't want to play by the rules, and they make it miserable for everybody. So in order to give us some semblance of a chance to allow real email to go through from those of us who are trying to use it for benefiting running our business or our customers, these are the ways that we have to play. All right. So with that in mind, the big problem here is that it's a pain in the ass to set all of this stuff up. It always has been. And there's 3 places, but we're going to go through it. One is deciding what email to use. Number 2 is setting up your validation, your SMTP, using a trusted service and connecting that to your business in a meaningful way. And number 3 is, what do you use to have the two-way communication when you send it up? If you can imagine, marketing email goes outbound only. That's okay. But what if you send out marketing email and somebody's like, yeah, I'm into that. Now you want to have a two-way conversation. And that's a pain in the ass, because when you use a marketing email service, as we'll talk about, you can just do it from do not reply at spencerforeman.com. But the problem is, when you really want people to talk to you, then you have to use another service, which is connected to your phone and your desktop and your email client to actually have a call. What if there was an evil genius somewhere who figured out a way? Well, we've already got a WordPress website, and we've got all these agentic things, and we've already got Fluent SMTP, FluentCRM. What if some evil genius somewhere came up with a way that we could merge the streams, get all worlds working together? And I think that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go to this model here. Okay. Introducing Minute Launch Mail. This takes these old ways, getting an SMTP service, buying a domain name, setting up your DNS records, verifying the sender, and replaces all of it so that you still get your mail out and don't end up in spam. With really almost one click, Minute Launch Mail creates a ready-to-use email inbox. It uses a tool called AgentMail. I'll show you that, which is free for like 300 emails, or I got to check the number, believe it or not. It's for enough to get you started. And then if you pay, it's the same price or lower than using traditional Gmail and stuff like that. Number 2 is it routes the email automatically. That is to say, it understands which tool you're using in your stack and which service needs to be used. So you don't have to worry about the problems of using the wrong tool for the wrong job. And if you don't want to, you don't actually have to use SMTP mail, because instead you can use REST API or MCP. So many acronyms, so little time. I'm going to show you this in practice. But basically, we can have a brand new website using Minute Launch with Minute Launch Mail. You can instantly, one click, create a new email address that serves for transactional email and basic marketing purposes. 2, the code goes to you one time just to say, is this really you doing this? Because hello, human, we need a human so that your robot doesn't do the HAL 9000 and lock you into the pod. And I can't do that, Dave, and not let you back in. And number 3 is you're ready to go with sending. Okay. So we're going to talk about more of the what, who, what, when, why. Let's go to a site that I've set up. That is not it. This is it here. This is a demo that may break while I'm doing it, because I've actually got Fernando working on it right now. Let's see where he's at with it. Backed up. Let's see what version he's on. He's on 1.3.0. All right. So introducing Minute Launch Mail. As you already know, most all of my stuff has this universal dashboard, which makes it very, very easy for me to create new solutions iteratively, like we're doing now. And what we've got here is a dashboard that allows me to turn on sending. I can turn off the switch through Minute Launch Email, or I can use other services. Like if I still use Fluent SMTP, with FluentCRM, I could just disable this entirely. I can also use it to send a test email. Let's actually see if something comes through. See if this is up and running. So I'm going to go over here to my email. You guys get to see what's in my email box this morning. That's the wrong account. Let's go here. Okay, so notice it sends out, this is a test from AgentMail, very similar to what you might normally see in the event that you're working with Fluent SMTP. Let's talk about what we've done and how we've set it up. First off, we go to settings. The tool that I'm using here is AgentMail. I have already set this one up, but I want to show you what AgentMail is and how easy it is. AgentMail is designed with 2026 and the future in mind. It is API-based. It allows you either as a human to be hands-off or be semi-hands-on, but instead of relying on only using old-fashioned SMTP, it allows us to use REST APIs to connect to an email service that is trusted. It also allows us to create instantly an email without the need to rely on a domain. Let's pause for a second and talk about what those two things mean. Number one, in the normal situation where I have to create an email, let's say I have a client who has a brand new business and they don't have a domain email yet. Or worse, they are at a company and they've got a domain email that has some really feisty IT person that runs all of the domain name stuff over at GoDaddy or wherever they host their domain. And even to get started with validating and using an email box with Brevo or Gmail or anything else, I would need to have them commit to a domain name. That's a big problem because, as you know, sometimes we just like to get started right away and we need to have the transactional emails while we're building out an idea. Like, again, back to Rocket.net. Rocket.net does not have basic email included. And so up until now, what I've been doing is I've been using a workaround. If I go here to settings, I don't have it installed, but I've been using the free Fluent SMTP plugin. I put it in place, and then I use the hold all emails feature. So it's not sending out emails, but it's capturing the emails, letting me see what they would be like. But with this situation, with AgentMail, I can actually create an email that's functional. As far as the domain name, we don't need it because with this mechanism, it gives you an agentmail.to address that you have some degree of choice over in the beginning. Let's see what I called mine. What did I call it? I have to look and see what I called mine, but it's probably like Lab Secrets 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know where I actually, let's see. Let's see if I can see where I need here. It's called minute launch -0001 at agentmail.to. So instantly, free sign up. I've got an agentic mail that, just like Gmail, has an email box and a series of email boxes. By the way, highest of fives to John Lawler for recommending this service to me to integrate. Second of all, or in addition, instead of having to set up SMTP and the things that go along with that, with getting an API key and blah, 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 instead, it's using RESTful API. This is really clever. I was able to build with Minute Launch an interactive RESTful API. Here's the difference in general terms. APIs are like walkie-talkies. With Minute Launch, all of the tools have RESTful APIs. They all have their own little walkie-talkies. Fernando has a larger series of walkie-talkies that he can use with everything. So what I've effectively done here is said, hey, Fernando, or whoever connects to the Minute Launch suite, here's a walkie-talkie to talk to the server at AgentMail and do what you need to do with sending, receiving, checking emails, whatever. Now, in case you're wondering, you can always update and add as a premium feature your custom domain name, which is probably what would happen down the road. So for example, once you got started with something, if one wanted to, you can go ahead and make it like spencerforeman.com or whatever. Also worth noting, let's see if we can go to their pricing. Let's see if I can get to that page without losing track of where I'm at. I have the wrong email, agent email. Here's the pricing here. Free for, I'm sorry, not 300, 3,000 emails a month and 3 gigabytes of storage. That's plenty for a brand new business. And you can even do 3 inboxes. So you could do, help or transactions, at whatever you want to do. But the idea is you can always bump it up and then you get 10,000 emails a month, 10 gigabyte. This is actually in some ways cheaper than using Gmail. I'm not recommending it as an alternative to Gmail, but I'm suggesting that if you had a new business idea, before you're ready to commit to giving it a domain name, which can oftentimes mean a lot of extra work, you can do this. Here's an example. One of the new business lines that I've created with Stuart Hoover, which is a longtime client and friend, is Launch Pure. Launch Pure is basically our vertical for selling into the medical and health professional marketplace, minute launch products. We've got launchpure.com. That's no problem, but it's a pain in the ass because Stuart and I both have our own emails to set up a new domain of Launch Pure for getting email, because then we have to hook up our phones, hook up our email client. We have to do all this stuff. So part of the inspiration for what we're talking about today is, how does a team of people who cooperate, or an entrepreneur who wants to have multiple businesses, set up their email in a convenient way? And this provides a very neat way to do it, because it's just instant on. You get an email that you can customize to be like, instead of, ML, agent email, whatever, I could just do, Launch Pure at agent email. And that's good enough. Okay. Let's talk about what else I've got set up here. I've got some features that are included in this, and I'm going to probably bounce back and forth a little bit, but there's 3 major features that this helps with. Number 1, this is the instant transactional email thing. So just by going ahead and saying, yes, sign me up, it instantly creates the email box, sends me a validation email, and I'm good to go. Once I've done that, I can then use it if I want by moving up the next level to connecting to Brevo. Now, I am not saying Brevo is the only email marketing out there, but for transactional email marketing, we're using AgentMail. For bulk marketing, for marketing to strangers, what I love about Brevo, I do like SMTP to go and other ones, but Brevo has amazing pricing. It's free for 300 emails a day, up to 2,000 contacts. When it comes to bulk sending, when it comes to one-click validation of your email with GoDaddy, this has just been a godsend, because it saves so much time over Twilio, SendGrid, which has 1 billion two-factor authentications, and other companies that are just jankier. This used to be called Sendinblue, and they kind of know what they're doing, and they have a very high, like 98% plus deliverability rate. So I like this as the alternative for sending bulk marketing emails. I've built that into the setup so you can go from just transactional to transactional and marketing. Brevo, worthy of note, has a RESTful API. It also has an MCP. So we could avoid entirely, in most cases, even using SMTP. But because of backwards compatibility, I've put in a routing engine and things that I'll talk about a little bit that allow you to still use Fluent SMTP if you've got other plugins like, use SMTP if you've got other plugins like Fluent SMTP. So it's not either or, they will smart route. Finally, the one that's really going to be the killer feature is this smart inbox. Here's the scenario. Stuart and I, and this is again common to myself even, Stuart and I want to do marketing messages and interaction with customers for this new vertical business line. All of the things that we have are right now set up for our own individual emails. Like I have help at WP Launchify, and he has his own email on his domain. We want to work together, but the problem is if one goes into FluentCRM, normally you can only send email out in a campaign to everyone or individually to a person through their contact. You can't go back and forth easily. It doesn't go to the email box and get what you need and bring it in. But that's a problem because we want to be able to send out both transactional emails and marketing emails, but we also want to have the dialogue with customers and see it in a place that would be common sense, which would be on the customer profile. So for example, if I'm here and I want to compose a new email, I could use this as a way to interact just like I would have used my normal email client or just like I would have used Gmail. But Fernando can use this as well. And when it does go that way, it should connect it to the FluentCRM contact profile. And we're going to test this because this is not tested yet in a way that gives me continuity. So any replies will basically land here, incoming replies, or on the contact themselves. Let's try it out. I have not tested this live yet because there was a new update this morning, but I have a strong sense that this will work fine. I also just got hit with an amazing dizzy spell. So if I pass out, call 911. Hopefully not. This is Bob at Lab Secrets. Okay, I'm going to copy his email and I'm going to test this just to see if this works out of the box. And one of the things I'm going to probably modify, I notice here, would be I would have the to be a drop-down selector. And that is actually wrong too, because it's not Lab Secrets, it's Bob at. Let's make a new contact. Or we'll edit Bob. Okay, so Bob's email is not Lab Secrets, it's labsecrets.com. And I'm going to update the contact. Now, just to put you in context, when you're using the free version of FluentCRM, you have the capability of sending emails through campaigns and so forth, but that's not really awesome. You can't really do individual emails with the free version. You'd have to go to the pro, in which case they would allow you some other capabilities. But we've added a feature to the free version right here. So if I go to the contact and I go, "Hi, Bob, it's Spence," this is exactly piggybacking on top of FluentCRM the way that one probably could or should if you thought about why it would be so awesome. I'd say, "Hey, I just want to let you know it's awesome to see you here at the office hours." Okay, so this feature here of piggybacking onto the free FluentCRM per contact means you instantly have an awesome CRM with instant ability for you or Fernando to reach out to people, and you'll see the conversation. Now, let's go to my other email box and see whether this is actually coming through. Whether it is or isn't, we're going to have to find out. And let's see also if it shows up in spam. So notice, if you send email to Gmail and it's not on a custom domain yet, it's going to likely end up in the, this might be spam because it's got AgentMail as the domain. You'll have to probably tell your clients, white label my email. There is not a goddamn thing I can do about that other than you explaining to people that this is the kind of thing that's going to happen. But the good news is it's working. And now I'm going to say, "Hi, Spence. I'm so happy to be at office hours." This should send it back to my agent email box for the contact inside of FluentCRM. And whether it does or doesn't, I am not sure if I have to do something. I may have to do a refresh. I don't know. I have to ask the agent. So here's how my process works. I have a question. I'm testing this live in the office hours without a net, by the way, Fernando. What do I have to do to go gather or receive the agent email when somebody responds to it let's say through their own email client? Is it like on a cron job, or is there a button that I can click to refresh, or how does that work? Let's see what he tells me. When I'm developing these plugins, Fernando now is so mature that he and I have this dialogue where we just discuss the strategy, and he tells me what he built or what he is working on. So he's saying the reply lands in your agent email inbox and it posts that to your site. That's the reason it's so clear. But here's the catch. That only happens if the webhook is actually registered. Okay, so maybe I haven't done the webhook yet. So I'm going to follow his instructions and show you how I'm going to set this up. Go to ML settings, inbound, FluentCRM. Make sure enable inbound capture is checked. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to ML. This is the plumber building the toilet, teaching you how to update the toilet. See this? So he's telling me I need to make sure enable inbound capture is checked and click the register webhook with ML. So enable inbound capture, and I got to first save that. And then the next thing is click to register the webhook with agent email. Now, I want to explain something to you guys. The neat thing about what I just showed you is the documentation is inside of here. But this is also known by Fernando if we went to the Get Started guide or Ask Fernando. So not only is it self-evident to the tool itself, but the documentation doesn't have to have 8 billion things in it, because the whole idea will be at some point, you'll just ask Fernando a question. Hey, how do I do whatever? And it'll be there for you. That is one of the neat things about this new modern method. All of the things that it does are self-evident and registered, but nevertheless, that was hopefully successful. So let's go back and see two things. First of all, I'm going to ask him, I see that you're wanting to do a testing live. So I'm going to want you to add that feature while I'm working on this during the live event. Update the plugin to the next version, add that feature. But for the feature that you had, what do I do now? Do I have some way of getting the emails back if I've enabled that after the fact? So in other words, I'm asking him here, let's update this slightly, but also what do I do to get the actual email? Okay. Yes. Webhooks are push. Okay, so I'm going to have to answer again. All right, so I'm going to tell him, okay, I'll send myself another response, but you build that now and let me know when it's done. Okay, so he's doing that. I'm going to go back over here to Gmail and I'm going to just respond again. Hey, one more thing. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see if now the webhook works. The webhook is coming from Agent Email's service going to my site here where I have presumably the contact, and it's saying, oh, there's new email here to get. Let's see if this actually works. And if it does or it doesn't, the important thing to me is that you see what is going on here. And I'm not 100% sure that that worked, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work or it won't work. It just means that we're building it live, and sometimes these quirky things have to work themselves out. So he's actually updating this. I'm just going to wait to find out because I think I may be reading this wrong. Can I go? Yes. Anything that came in before is lets us list the message. Let's also make sure that I'm on the right account. So when I'm inside of Minute Launch Mail, it should let me go back and check what I've got connected here, right? So if I go and log in, interestingly enough, I wonder if I'm connected to the right account. I think what I'm going to do, just for us, our purposes, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out of this and I'm going to do a new account because I have a suspicion that I might be in the wrong account. All right, so let's do this. Let's see if I can undo this one and start over. So notice I've got this. I have a suspicion this is wrong. I'm going to ask him how I can reset the whole thing. And also I noticed this didn't save. So anyway, I'm not trying to turn this into a diagnostic session for you guys. That would be sort of boring. But on the other hand, maybe it's super cool that I'm able to show you what's going on here, right? So I'm going to tell him one of my problems. I have an honest to goodness problem. Let's say I've already set up agent email with a particular site. I'm really unclear whether I'm connected to the proper agent email connection because maybe I have multiple clients. Can you add something to the interface that makes it very clear which account I'm connected to, make sure that I'm logging into the right account, and that also gives me some kind of reset capability if I wanted to start with a new account? Okay. I think that will be helpful. In the meantime, while he's fixing that, I'm going to try to remediate this. If I log in here, I'm going to make sure I'm using the right account credentials because I suspect that I was not. And it's probably working somewhere, but I'm not responding to the right thing. Okay, notice when I sign up, I can use whatever I want to use. I can use Lab Secrets account or whatever. I think the problem here is I used a particular email account. So let's try this from scratch. Let's do test Spence 001 at labsecrets.com. The reason I'm doing it this way is that way I'm going to get manual email to verify it instead of my one Gmail account. If you have an email like I do, Lab Secrets, that has unlimited capability, this is a good way to manage clients. You can put the client's name at Lab Secrets or client's name at your catch-all Gmail or whatever it is. And that is a way to have multiple email boxes or other things without having to figure it all out. I'm pasting this in. So it's test 001. Okay, here's where I get to create this new agent email box. And I'm going to call it exactly what I did. Test 001, if it allows me, at agent email. Let's see if it works. No. Let's see if it does it with a dash. Okay. Very good. So now I've got like a match. This would be like the client's name at agent email or the business name at email. Send an email to your inbox. Okay. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to start here. Testing 1, 2, 3. Does this work? I'm sending it to my agent email box. And it's doing that so that it can see whether or not it's working. It will show up here if that comes through. Okay. And it got it. So now we're good. We get the API key if we needed it. I don't think we need the API key here because we actually have the agent email box, but I'm going to leave this for a second. And I got to go back to here because this is where we have to use the agent email address properly. So it was test 001 from name. We can call it whatever we want. The name of the business, we'll call it test Spence business. Here's where the agent API key comes in. So I will just copy this key and I just paste it in here. Save the settings. Now I think we should be good to go. Let's find out. Check agent email now. He updated that feature. And let's make sure we have... By the way, if I'm boring you guys to tears, let me know. I'm going to register the webhook. I think this is pretty cool because for a lot of you guys in the past, you said, oh, Spence, how does this work when I'm building new stuff with minute lines? I'm like, this is it, right? This is literally it. I create something, then I test it for myself, for my clients. I keep doing it until we get it right. And if it doesn't work, we keep going and going and going. So in this particular case, let's try one other thing. Let's see if we do a test here. Okay, so inbox not found. I have a suspicion that I'm going to need to ask. I'm not sure if you're done with your update, but I was setting it up with a new inbox with AgentMail, and I got this 404. Maybe you can tell me if that's temporary. And I just give it the message. I suspect he's in the middle of building this. So I think I just need to wait till he's done. Okay, while he's doing that, let's talk about Brevo. You might be right, John. Actually, thank you. Let me test that. Hold on. I'm going to test John's theory here because you're probably right, and I am always missing those details. So if I go here to settings, let's try test-001. I think you're 100% right, John. Save. Thank goodness you're here. Ah! John to the rescue. Okay. Actually, John Lawler saw, I forgot a hyphen in my email, so ignore my last plea. Okay, so let's see if this is working on the version he's got. No new messages, but let's go back over now to, let's go to one of our contacts like I started to do. Bob or whomever. And I'm going to use the conversation. So I'm going to say, hey, it's Spence again, just saying. And I'm testing the new test-001 email here to see if it works. Okay, I'm going to send it out. And let's go to the dashboard of AgentMail to see if there's a recognition of what's going on. Okay. I feel like something is still not connected properly because this this would be from Bob at Lab Secrets. Or I'm sorry, this is outbound email. So this is me sending it to Bob. So instead of inboxes, that would be outbox. And I'm not 100% sure if that lists out here. Forgive me for being the plumber who doesn't know how to use his own toilet, but it's okay. I'll get there. Sent. Okay, here's the outbound message that I sent. It seems to be working. All right, so now let's go to my Lab Secrets. This is the Launchify account. Here is the email that I sent to myself. Now I'm going to reply, hi, Spence. So glad to talk to you via ML Mail. If this works, then we're golden. If I come back here to my conversation and refresh it, I'm confused as to what I sent. I'm losing my mind. Let's see here. I said, hey, hi, I'm so happy to be here at office hours. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's, I don't know. I'm going to ask him. I don't mind the fact that I'm doing this live on the air because, again, this is not finished for full release. You can kind of see where it's going, but we should have a continuity in the inbox for myself and a team member to share. And then we should also have the individual person, right? And it's saying no new messages. So I'm assuming I'm doing something wrong, or I'm assuming that something is not connected. but I do see it here in agent email. So I suspect it's something with the email. Let's ask him. Okay, he's at 1.32. I just want to ask, because I'm doing this live on the air and it's actually very fun. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the experience of seeing Spence's brain in action. But I can see that it's sending out and I see agent email has it, but it doesn't seem that the inbox is catching or gathering the email as it should. Maybe that's because the webhook I used was before your update was finished. Can you give me a suggestion what to try next? And also, you're connected to the site. Can you self-diagnose? Now, this is an interesting, something doesn't seem to be working with the webhook. Maybe that was because it was in action. Here's what's interesting, and this is an aside from today's show. I used the connector of Minute Launch Plugin Manager, Connect Your Agent. Let me actually go back to the Plugin Manager. When you update to the latest version, you're going to have two new features here. One is the Connect Your Agent, which you're familiar with. This allows me to connect Fernando anywhere. In this case, I'm using Fernando Claude in the browser. And he, she, it is able to build and diagnose the plugin live. You'll notice I'm not uploading done. He's building it while we're working with the site. He can also diagnose what's wrong. Two is I'll show you this at the end of today. This is the new connected sites. I built in a capability where there is soon to be coming a desktop manager for all your sites. But for right now, I could, if I wanted, have Fernando in my primary business site work to develop and manage and diagnose a client site like this one, all through this very simple connector system. And I want you to understand that this is going to be part of this really amazing having Fernando do everything where I don't need to worry about figuring it out. I can ask Fernando on the fly to figure it out for me. Okay. So the 404 was my own path typo. So he made a boo-boo. Self-diagnosis, it's healthy. What I can't see from here, runtime opinion. Okay, let's ask him. Are you able to do a test to send some mail to anything at labsecrets.com and then see whether or not you could do the reply back? In fairness, I don't think you can actually reply back, but if you send an email to anything at labsecrets.com, I can reply back. So in other words, I'm going to see if he can do the test. He has the API. He should be able to use the tool in the site to send an email. And if he's able to do so, great. Oh, I'll give you the key. Don't publish. So I'm going to actually give him this key. Normally, you wouldn't give him the key in public, but if you ask him to not publish it, it should be fine. Oh, I don't think he can do the key. So I'll create another key. I'll use this key here. Hold on. So again, guys, if I'm boring you to tears, let me know. But the idea is, if we can get this to work, you'll see where the value is. I can't give him that key. I'd have to put in a new key. So let's see if he can do it before I change out the keys. Okay, he can't send the email himself. So let's do it like this. Let's create a new key. New key. I'm going to give this to him. And I'm going to first put it into the site here where it's the API key, and I'm going to save it so that way he can test it for me while we're doing this. So all I'm trying to accomplish is I'm saying, listen, Fernando, you built the thing. It's got REST API. Here's the key to AgentMail. You've already been connected to the site. Don't make me do the hard work. You do the hard work. Once he sends his email, I'll respond back, and we should see what's up. Also, I have a question too. If I send something to somebody who's not yet in the FluentCRM, was there an option to create a FluentCRM contact? And is that something that's on by default, or I have to set it up? Okay, so I'm going to ask him that question. And the same time, I'm going to go to this email box and let's see. We've got the new email to, should be to anything. Here. This is 6 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago. Okay, here's the message from him from 0 minutes ago. Hi, Fernando. Does this work? I'm going to send. Let's see what he comes up with. Okay, so what I had asked him about was, what if I just use this tool to send a new email to a stranger and I don't want to bother with adding him to the CRM? Can it do it on its own? Okay. And it's saying flip on, create a contact. Okay. I'm going to flip that on now, but I also replied to the lab secrets email in case that's helpful for your test. Okay. So I'm going to go inside of here and I'm going to go to that settings, which is create a contact if the sender's unknown. And I'm also going to fire this event. I could apply tags if I wanted to when you reply. That's also useful if, for example, you're taking on a lead magnet and you want to have something happen afterwards. You want to know that they've already been in a conversation with you, right? All right, let's see if this helps them figure it out. I'm going to check the individual account for the contact, but also I want to know on the global inbox, shouldn't all these emails be showing up in the global inbox as well? Julie tells me that my video is no longer visible because I am harassing and bullying. Are you saying you can't see my video now? Is everybody else here? Can you guys? Oh, shit. So I'm being told by a bunch of you guys through text messages that YouTube took this video down for bullying and harassment. Okay, I'm going to continue the video. I'll just finish the video and then post the replay. That's mental. What the hell is wrong with YouTube? I have no idea, because how could this be bullying and harassing? Who am I bullying and harassing? Unless one of you guys accidentally called me in or something like that. But now my son is calling me. I'm on a live show, Alex. I have to call you when I'm done, my friend. All right. Love you. Bye. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to finish up what I'm doing here, because then you guys can see the replay. You guys are very sweet. You're all texting me, but I'm just going to finish this and post it, because there's no point in me. I don't think I can add or start streaming somewhere else in the midstream. So it's kind of mental. I don't know what's going on with YouTube on that. That is just unbelievable. Let's see what's going on. So let me just see one thing. Hold on. Stream is already live. I don't know if I can give out the stream link. If I do, I'll probably break something. I'm just going to leave it alone and finish. Let's try a new thing. So let's say I got distracted by YouTube taking the video down. That is weird. Let's do a new one. Do it to test 002 at Lab Secrets, and let's see if it goes round trip. And what I was saying is I would like it where the plugin has the inbox that should show all communications with any team member and any recipient. And I've also enabled the create a FluentCRM and otherwise. That's not the answer I was looking for. Automatic detection systems or human review teams. I'm targeting a specific individual with malicious intent. I think it's probably this. It's probably that it saw that I was using an API key or something. That's nonsense. I'll check my email and see if there's something in there. It doesn't really much matter for today. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So this is how dumb the world is. Because I showed an API key, it's took the content down. So I'll deal with this later. But for you guys who are wondering, that's what happened. I follow a guy, Rick Beato, who does a lot of YouTube videos about music and music industry, and he has all kinds of problems. I understand it's probably very difficult for YouTube because there's so much crazy stuff. They have just automated systems. But obviously, this is just a demo account, so no big deal. All right, so let's take a look, and we'll finish this up. Round trip test 2. Testing response to test 2. Send. All right, let's go in and, oh, look, I showed the API key. Let's see if it works now. Success. So notice I've got something that I work on making even more awesome, but I've got a Gmail style email box. If I go to open the contact, let's see if it created a contact, help at Lab Secrets, which it did, to which it should have the conversational emails, which it does. And to a certain extent, I can continue replying. Let's keep this going. I'm going to tell Lloyd as well. Yep, it was a mistake by YouTube. I'm going to finish video so you guys can watch the rest async. It was a mistake. We'll finish video. Okay. All right. So let me just keep going. So this is exciting because you got to actually see, like, welcome to the real world. Automated, bless you, Jack, automated moderation. This is part of the world we're living in now. He's saying to me, I'm going to say, by the way, highest fives, Fernando. It actually works and it's awesome. But now we need to add some global inbox features like you're suggesting to be a true shared team inbox, right? And we also need some basic filtering, sorting, searching controls so that it becomes a little more functional. Another idea also, is that it's not really super ideal to have the inbox taking up all the space above, sorry, to have the outbox or the sending thing taking so much space above the rest of the inbox. Make it more like Gmail does. Make it that it has some tabs on the left side and you can switch from send mode to receive mode. Also for simplicity, basically, I think that even though those checkboxes are optional, I think the default for those should be on for most people, and then they can optionally turn them off. Okay, so really good success. Let me talk about the other things in the slide deck. So now what you can see is we've got outbound transactional email that just works, right? I could call it client name at agent email, or I could do test123 at agent email. As quickly as that, other than YouTube, I'm up and running for transactional email and being able to have a threaded dialogue in my FluentCRM, which is super awesome because remember, FluentCRM is the source of all truth. And if I do marketing emails, they'll show up here. If I do take notes and I want to say something, by the way, I could do an email here, but the idea is if I wanted to do something like, you know, spoke to Spence today, spoke to Spence, and I just do, you know, right now, today. This is the place where Fernando and you and your team will know everything about your customers. This really, 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 really empowers and leverages what you can do with FluentCRM, because I don't know why that's a missing feature, but now I've got something that like is a team email or an entrepreneur's email that gets going right out of the box. There's no cost. It's free Fluent on top of, hello, you know, you're going to need mail, but like for your basic relationship with me, all those other services and things come into play that you can do for social and otherwise. But you can do 3,000 emails a month. You can do 100 emails per day, $0 to get started. And until or unless you decide you're going to do something more with this business or the client, it's pretty awesome to be able to do that. So now the CRM, FluentCRM, really is powerful because now all of the messages flow back and forth into FluentCRM, and it turns the FluentCRM into a two-way conversational channel your whole team can use. Team inbox, conversation, threaded messaging, a shared inbox. Pretty crazy, right? Now, there's the ability to add a tag to a content on an inbound reply. So let's go back to that feature. Let's say, for example, I do something that sends out a marketing message to somebody, and it'll have the reply email. It'll be client name at agentmail.to or whatever. If I go into those settings and I want to add a tag, we can, this is what's interesting. I'm going to tell it I want to choose a different method here too. Hold on, I'm going to explain this to him. By the way, I want a little more power and capability on the tagging for reply. I want you to have a drop-down multi-selector for the tags that already exist in FluentCRM. And if they don't exist, I want the ability to create the tags right there in that field box, much like we've done in other plugins like WP Fusion and stuff. Okay. So the idea is I'm asking him, instead of me having to actually put in the tag or create the tag, you know, manually, wouldn't it be better if I created a tag here? So let's say I have something that's going out as a marketing and I want to have a special tag on reply. This needs to be expanded as a feature, no doubt, but let's just create something. I'm probably going to play it safe and go to FluentCRM tags. And again, for simplicity, I can have many, many tags, but I'm going to keep it really low key, like replied email, replied lead. Okay. All right. So my ID is number 3, or the tag is replied lead. This is where I want to drop down so I don't have to be so clever. It's tags to apply, replied lead. Save. Okay. Let's see what happens if I go to a contact. I've got help at Lab Secrets. Let's add a new contact. We're going to call it Ben Jones. Ben Jones at Lab Secrets. Okay. Notice I'm just going to put them on the main list, but no tags have applied to Ben Jones at Lab Secrets yet, right? Okay, so now here's how I'm going to use it in practice. I could either communicate with him directly, or I could use my generic email. Here, I'll just communicate with him directly. I'll be say, hi, Ben. Hi, Ben, it's Spence from this new business. Sorry. Hi, Ben, it's Spence from this new business. If you reply, this should add a tag to your contact in FluentCRM. Sorry. If you reply, this should add a tag to your profile in FluentCRM. I'm hitting the wrong keys. If you reply, this should add a tag to your contact in FluentCRM. Okay, so now it's sent it out. Forgive my transcription. Let's go to Lab Secrets. Here's Ben. Okay, Spence, I'm replying now. This should add a tag to me, right? I send it. And we come back here. We now should just have to refresh. It should automatically grab it. Again, not sure. This is interesting. I'm not sure whether or not on an individual basis versus the inbox, how fast it will go. So I'm going to go to the inbox and I'm going to ask him that question too. If I go to the inbox, look at this. He's already built this out. This is pretty awesome. I'm going to check now. Here is, I'm going to tell him to compact that a little bit. First of all, that's awesome. I love that. But can you be a little more mobile, portrait responsive, or responsive to the size? Because in the size my browser is now, that's a little awkward. The layout. Check the layout by looking at the screen, or here's the screenshot. Also, when I'm in an individual contact, I should also have a check the email now link so that I can check that individual contact. Right now, without going back to the main page, there's a stale reply chain. Okay, so I'm going to actually do what I do best. I'm going to take a screenshot of this using this built-in tool here called Go Full Page. And that way I can give him a better sense of what it is that I'm complaining about. But in the meantime, let's just carry on with this because this is awesome. So I've got inbox. Here's Ben. Let's go to the contact. I also think I would rather want to read that here. Okay, so the reply is there, which, by the way, this is an interesting conversation. Is it better I should be able to read it there as well as go to the contact? I think so. By the way, even though we can go to the contact to read the full thread, I think it would be awesome if I had the option to read the thread just in line in the inbox, the global one. That would actually be a lot faster in many cases. Can you make that happen too? The magic of working with Fernando is he's able to build this stuff in real time. Okay, I'm just going to interrupt him. And this is how I build so fast. This is how I build so iteratively. And he's building on the minute launch system. Let me close a couple windows here. So all the benefits apply across the board for all of the other components that are going to use this, as you'll see in a second. Let's see now. He has the tag, replied lead. So it's pretty awesome. The only thing that's weird is the name is the wrong name. No, it's not. There's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson replied. He should have the tag too. So that got weird. Here's what I'm not sure about. This doesn't show Ben's reply. So I'm going to go back over here to Lab Secrets and I'm going to look at sent. And let's make sure I was actually, I'm in help at Lab Secrets. I see what's going on here. I think I replied to the wrong thing. okay, replying as Ben. Let's see if this is being merged together. That's what I think is going on here. See, Gmail is catching all this email into my help at Lab Secrets, not Ben at Lab Secrets. There is no such thing. So I think that's what's happening. Let me try one more thing. If I can force the reply from, see, I don't have a pseudonym here. I don't have Ben at Lab Secrets. That's why it's coming through as that. But I'm going to switch it to support at Lab Secrets. Testing if this makes new CRM contact. Since I put on those other features, if I reply as support at Lab Secrets, it should get back here, but it should also create a new contact, I think. Let's ask it. No, still not. Let's see if that email is here. No, now it just kind of got lost in the thread. So I'm going to ask him what to do about this problem. We have one more scenario, which is probably not common, but just because I'm testing it, I'm using help at Lab Secrets with Gmail, and it's got a catch-all email box. When I respond, it's responding as help as Lab Secrets, but that obviously doesn't match up to the contact that I originally sent the email to. Is there some way that you can use filtering or otherwise to route the email in that situation to the original contact that was used to send to people? Because a lot of people do have catch-all email addresses, and it would be a shame if their responses came back with their global default email address. Do you understand what I mean? And if you can fix it, fix it. If not, let me know why not. Okay, so minor nuances. Let's move on, because I think you get the gist of this. And this is really awesome. This is shaping up for absolutely going to be released. So now what he did here is the inbox. It's pretty good. I mean, this is just a factor of the size of my screen at the moment. It's pretty good. Let's see if he did it where I've got compose, which opens up the composer. I've got inbox. And this is the only thing. If I click, oh, fantastic. I can actually work on it here. The only thing I'm not sure about is doesn't seem like there's a reply. So one other feature while I'm at it, when I'm using your inline inbox in the global setup, if there's a thread, I'd like to be able to reply right there in line at the global point and still associate it to that contact. So if you can manage that, please let me know. So what's happening here when I'm using the browser version of Claude, Fernando, is he's able to make the changes, but if I interrupt him, I'll interrupt what he's about to do here. So I'm going to leave this message sitting. Notice he's got this little rectangle instead of orange. I'm going to wait till he's done because he can instantly update. Notice he's on version 143 already. We started at 130 a couple minutes ago. He's just... And the beauty of all of this is when it's done, this plugin goes into my normal management chain. It will be released as part of the Minilaunch plugin stack, which means that I'll be able to continue iterating it with the normal Fernando. This is how I'm able to develop these ideas so quickly. Okay, he's able to use the breadcrumb of the headers, and it's being threaded for us. So this is turning out to be more awesome than I thought. We got this control center, which also let us create routing rules, which we'll go into another time. But like, remember we started today, which emails are going to be using regular SMTP, which ones are going to be using Brevo. Oh, you can't see this either, but if I change this, agent email, I'm right in the middle here, right around the middle. Brevo or SMTP. Okay, that's your default. And then I can use this control center here to create custom rules, as well as to add the REST API key and SMTP information to act as just essentially air traffic controller. And I can match up with the recipient and sender with certain rules to use this or that or the other. I'll play with this and get back to you when that's done. Upgrade. This is the Brevo part. We're at the free level, send from your domain. We can go into Brevo and use their MCP with a key, which allows us to connect to Brevo almost instantaneously and do all of those upgraded things where we're doing essentially the same stuff, but now your Fluent SMTP style marketing gets sent out automatically through Fernando. It doesn't have to go through the normal SMTP channels, which means, like you're seeing here, there's more knowledge. It's a very esoteric thing, but SMTP is blind and dumb. It's like POP3 email, but with like features on it. REST API, Fernando here is literally connecting to Brevo and doing his thing, right? So if we go to Brevo, here's how we would do that. Brevo.com. And let's sign up for free. We'll do the test 001 thing. Test-001 at Lab Secrets. Hopefully I can just make a simple password here. Create my account. Okay. I'm going to verify the email address. As simple as one click, confirm my email. Then with this, I haven't even read the directions yet, but I'm pretty sure generate an MCP key. Go to Brevo account, SMTP, and generate the MCP option. Okay. So I am logged into Brevo now. Test 001. Test 001 company. And I'll do, I'm just gonna leave Lab Secrets at the moment. Or here, I'll take this out. Let's do it of pretending I don't have a website. Because this is new. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 main. Now, keep in mind, you know, if you're doing weird email stuff, they're going to turn you off or stop you, which is their right to do so. But if you're just using it for basic transactional stuff, you're good to go. You can take advantage of the offer they're making, which is to say, you know, I'm going to use this for simple email purposes. And for this, I don't really want to do two factors. So for this, I'm going to use my business 312 344 3280. Okay. I hate the verification code stuff, but let's just do it. 826044. Okay. So now that I'm in here, I don't need to do the plans. I can just stay with the free. Now I need the what it told me to do is to go into account SMTP. So account, I think it's in here, SMTP. Okay. API keys and MCP, activate for API keys. Click here to generate a key. ML mail, 1 year expiration. Copy the key. I'm going to turn on the MCP. I don't know if I need that, but I think it's this. So I'm going to just say, okay, but generate version to connect via API and MCP. Oh, MCP option checked, right? So here's the token. Hold on, point your I'm not sure if I did that correctly because I'm not reading my own directions, but I'm going to say okay. And now I have Brevo connected as an option that I could send out with. Now, presumably, that's where I would go back over here to the control center and I would say for certain situations, I send out this way or that way. Let's actually enable this and I'm going to make Brevo with the REST API, the default outbound. And let's see what happens if I send an email now to help@labsecrets.com, testing Brevo. Does this work? That already had a contact. Let's look in Brevo and let's look at my, I think it's in conversations. I'm not sure. Maybe it's inbox. It should be actually the other way around. It should be all messages. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to ask him. Hold on. I have a question too. I just tried to set up while you were working on other things, the Brevo connection, and I'm not sure if I did it correctly. Can you validate whether Brevo is connected properly? I have a problem because I don't read directions. Even for things that I make. But I'll just let him validate because I know what it's supposed to be doing, and I'm just very agitated when I have to go to other people's websites like Brevo and actually read directions. So I think I have the Brevo key here. Oops, no. Send a test through transport. Oh, okay. So we control centers tend to send a test through the transport. He's thought of everything. Control sender. Oh, here we go. How thoughtful that he has put this in here. Brevo API key set, not set. So I used the wrong key. So let's set that up again. API key. Have a great trip. Let me know you got there, okay? Bye, buddy. Love you. Okay, I'm going to generate a new API key. New key. I'm going to try this. I'm going to actually copy this. Don't publish, just test. Let's see if he can figure it out. I'm not sure which of these keys is supposed to work. Which of the two keys should I use? There is API and MCP API. And again, I didn't set this up, so I'm going to paste this in to Brevo API key. Oh, and it should be test. Maybe that's why 001 at lab secrets. I'm not sure whether that was the reason. We'll find out. X key SIB. Ah, I'm using the wrong key. That would be a good reason. I'm going to give him that as well. You need to make it clear not to use the MCP option then, because that was confusing to me as well. Let's try a test with this. Oh, sorry. We already know agent email works. Let's try it with Brevo or Brevo. Aha. So unrecognized IP address. We have to do something to validate with Brevo, so that it's allowed to go through. Now, I'm not 100% sure, But see where it says here, blocked for API keys. So I have to click here to add my IP address. How would I add my IP address? I would just go ahead and in this particular case, if I was using a fixed domain or location, you could just say, what's my IP? And we'll tell you at the moment. Now, if you're on a rotating thing, that could obviously be a problem. But for today, that's something that I'll work on making simpler or easier. But let's just go here and we're going to add hold on here, blocking to, let's deactivate this feature. That's why. We can just block it for locking you down, or in this case, I'm just turning it off. Let's try it again. I'm not worried about security because this is a test thing. In the real world, you might want to apply some common sense. Okay, it worked. Fantastic. Loving this. All right, so now we're going to look at conversations, inbox. I don't know where this shows up, if at all, but it should route through Brevo. I think. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think it should route through there. And this is 6 minutes ago. This is verify new IP, verify new IP, all that stuff. Let's get rid of that. Let's try to actually send an email. So I'm going to enable the control center, Brevo REST API. I'm going to go to the inbox, compose. We'll do help at, we'll do like Brevo at Lab Secrets. Testing Brevo API. Does this work? Send. There should be a log, which, I mean, I could see under send, but there should be a log as well that gives information about what happened. But let's see if this actually makes it through. Oh, fantastic. Now this says send via agent email. So I think we need to tell him not to have that. I noticed a very minor point. I think it's working now, but like you have a default sent via agent email that gets added to the email, even when I think I sent it out via Brevo. I need to have some kind of a diagnostic that matches up with whatever was used at the time so that you don't get a conflicting or confusing message. I don't know if that's a legit issue, but that's a bug. Okay, so let's just do another message in case. And then I'm going to bring this home. I'm very pleased with what happened other than the YouTube thing. To help at Lab Secrets. This is Brevo, not agent email. Okay. Brevo. And it works. Fantastic. Other than that little bug he's fixing. All right, so one or two more slides. Let's just run through them. If you have a client, a new client, you can land the client, start sending email immediately for free. All this was free. You can use it with Gmail. You can use it with AgentMail. You can use it with Brevo. Any of these things would work because now we are liberated from having to validate stuff. So if you think of it in terms of like iterative, you can get the client up and running today. They can get their logins. They can change their passwords. They can do some basic testing. And then when they're done, they can upgrade. Agent email, they can use as the email service for this, and they can just essentially not have to bother with Google Workspace, pay for a domain. Or move to Google Workspace. But you can continue using this for SMTP purposes with Gmail or with whatever domain space you want. But at that point, you can also install Fluent SMTP and connect in the traditional way, whichever way you want to do it. There's no waiting on the domain validation and so forth, because it doesn't matter. But just so you know, one of the neat things about Brevo is if you do want to validate the email, if you do want to validate the domain, you go to settings and you can simply go here, senders, domains, and IP, add a sender. We've already got this. But if we want to add a domain, GoDaddy is so easy for this. When you add a domain, it says, what's the domain? And it will go connect automatically to GoDaddy, make all the necessary connections, and be done with it. Absolutely fabulous compared to Twilio and other things. So it's perfect for a new customer, client, business. And it works agentically. So like we were just saying, as long as Fernando has the tool, he can connect and tell me everything I need to know. For example, if I go here, he's building it out. All right. I want to demonstrate something to the audience too, because you're connected through the API keys that you've got and so forth. You can actually read the emails that I've created and sent, and you know everything I've said, right? Which I already know to be true. So he can read the messages. He already did this earlier. Okay. The idea is, I know he's being broad. I mean, you can read the emails, not that you know what my mind is thinking. The point I'm making is the benefit here is that since you're agentically capable of reading and writing and using the same tool, I can actually make it easier for you to know about all the things that the business is doing when we're using this connection. Is that an accurate statement, Fernando? Which, if you think about it, is pretty awesome. Because now in my browser, I can be like, hey, Fernando, I'm on the road and I need you to tell me, did I get an email, right? So he can know what's in the inboxes that the key controls, not my private Gmail, not my accounting. That's another big point too, actually, if you think about it. Because if I have partnerships with new clients, if I have partnerships with other entrepreneurs, if I have businesses that I want to keep in silos, I can do that. And the agent doesn't have to go into my whole Gmail and filter all that stuff out, which is an interesting conversation in today's world, okay? Not having to set up the SMTP services, no vendor maze, means we got a lightweight plugin that's going to be in the Launch stack that is awesome and instant, and you can have these conversations where the tool is able to do what he needs to do. Now, I didn't show you Fernando in the site, but if I was in Launch Lab, and let's see if he's connected. I'm not sure if I have a key associated. I'm going to put him in auto mode, and let's turn on automation. Let's see if Fernando's enabled here. Hey, Fernando, it's Spence. What's the time and day? Are you connected? I don't know if I have a key, if I have tokens. Let me see if I do. Okay, he's got tokens. Okay, great. So watch this. Listen, you've got the new ML Mail connected, which means you should be able to read all of the messages that I've written and received inside of there, right? It's the new plugin inside of the Launch plugin stack here in this site. So I'm just trying to orient Fernando to the fact that he's got access to the mail here. And if he doesn't understand this, this is one of the things that I will add in, which will be the REST API connections for Launch Lab to understand the tool. But usually he picks it up on his own. Okay, he's got it. So how awesome is this? Can you tell me the last 3 people I communicated with and give me an executive summary of what we talked about? I know this is a test, so it's not really a lot of information, but just so I can show it here, I'm on a live show. Okay, so what I'm saying is this is part and parcel of turning Launch Lab Fernando or Launch Coach Fernando into your buddy, because it'll be truly like Jarvis. Probably I would do this not so much in the lab. I would do it in the Launch Coach on my phone. I'd be with my headset being, hey, read my emails. Tell me what I need to say and do it. So let's see if he comes back. And this is an auto mode, right? So really, really, really inexpensive. I don't know which model it's using, but it's probably 25 cents on the dollar compared to, Claude or Sonnet or anything like that, or Opus or Sonnet. So he's able to do it, right? He's able to say, look, here's the last 3 people, what we talked about, what time. Awesome. Okay. Self-hosted, $97, minute launch. You can do all this stuff. $197 fully hosted, $497 concierge. I set up Fernando and the team to do all your marketing emails for you, which, by the way, madness is ensuing because we're already starting to do the new stuff with the minute launch persona, the UGC videos. We're seeing remarkable results with real world businesses. Some of them are 7-figure businesses, where I got a very high compliment yesterday from one of my new clients and friends that his professional marketing agency didn't realize that the UGC videos that were created with the system and otherwise were not real people, which I found remarkable, and that the videos were so high performing that they asked permission to use the videos as part of their paid campaigns, which I thought was awesome as a compliment to it. And he was also very impressed with the range of the tools we have available to us. So all of this is, again, just part of the ongoing new things added in that you're going to have access to probably this weekend. We also have built into this, as you know, the new minute launch capture for gathering your social media contacts and bringing them into the system. We have new updates to minute launch social, minute launch Stripe gateway that are running full-blown systems. I'm not going to go to this here because you guys are not live. I have to figure out what to do about YouTube. Maybe I'll file a response to getting turned off. Hopefully I have this recorded locally. If not, what a shame. Otherwise, it was great to see you guys. More this weekend. Talk to you soon.